What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Mile High Hockey. Mike and Will with you as always. Mike, the Gabe Landeskog Media Blitz is officially on. We spent Tuesday talking about Chris McFarland's comments about you guys can read into this. Gabe's probably not going to come back. And then in the last 48 hours, we've been hit with a 5-part docu-series, a feature story in The Athletic, an Altitude TV 30-minute show tonight, a very interesting Instagram interaction he had with a fan. What do you make of the timing of this Gabriel Landeskog media tour?
Well, the docu-series, first of all, looks like just compelling television. It really does, because I think we as fans, you as fans, we have an insatiable desire to be able to peer around the curtain to see what goes on behind the scenes, and this will give us that opportunity. It'll be compelling TV. I do think the docu-series, I think this thing was done with the idea there would be a happy ending, and that it would be follow the journey, follow the comeback. You get to watch it over 5 weeks before the playoffs begin, and then boom, Gabe's triumphant return to the NHL. So I think that was the intent behind the docu-series. I don't think that's going to happen. And then you get into the other things, and then you start to try to figure out what exactly is going on.
Yeah, so let's reset all of this. You have the docu-series, which, as you said, 5-part, super compelling, looks really interesting. The team-affiliated TV station is going to run something tonight. I'll check that out. This article with Peter Baugh, who covered the Avalanche for a long time in The Athletic, where Gabe made some interesting comments we can dive into, and then an interesting interaction with a fan who also went through cartilage replacement surgery, and Gabe sort of sympathized with him and then said, I will be back, in an Instagram, frankly, private conversation that got leaked as a public one. Where do you want to begin with all this? Because it is a little mixed messages. Part of it feels like, you know, Gabe feels like he's done everything he could and he made this valiant effort. And then part of it is like, Gabe's going to play again. Like, what's your read on all of this?
I still, my gut feeling is, first of all, I don't think he comes back this year, but I don't think he's ready to give it up yet. There's parts of me that feels like part of this is financially motivated. He's still got 4 years at about $7 million per left on his contract. That's not insignificant, folks. Okay, that's a big deal. You also have a guy that clearly, what I read in the article, is a guy that is really struggling with his hockey mortality here. He talked about how he's been doing therapy and it's been helpful. He talked about how that if I can't come back, there's part of me that feels like with this work and this journey that I've taken that I've already won. So in many respects, it feels like to me a guy that's still kind of trying to figure out how to cope with his hockey mortality as he goes through this, understanding that maybe the writing's on the wall, but not yet ready to give in because it's just not against his nature too.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Excuse me. And I think, too,
he's choked up, folks. He's very choked up about this Gabe thing.
I got a frog in my throat.
It's very emotional
there
for
we
Will.
go. With Chris McFarland's comments, Mike, on Monday, they almost look like, I said, I thought they were a little out of turn. You know, I didn't think he needed to give that much information. For our job, it's great. We love information. But for the fans, I thought it became kind of a distraction. And now you look at it with Gabe and you start to wonder, is he sitting there going, why is the GM saying this when I've got all this media stuff coming in the next 48, 72 hours? It just makes the whole thing feel a little odd, would be the word I would use.
Let me ask you, I get the sense you're kind of dancing around something here. Do you get the sense that the Avalanche aren't completely happy with this media blitz?
I think it looks like a PR campaign for Gabriel Landeskog, is how I would put it. For Gabe. And it's strange to me because of all the athletes in Denver, one of the very last ones that needs a PR campaign is Gabriel Landeskog. He is universally beloved. But I do think he hears the naysayers out there. It's been too long. It's time to retire, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think this is very Avs motivated. I think this is Gabe motivated, trying to prove to the fans, I promise you I'm doing everything I can, and therefore I'm going to show you I am doing everything I can. What do you think of that theory?
That's not a bad theory, although, Gabe, you don't have anything to prove to us.
Right.
That's the thing. We know.
But not everyone.
Not
because
everyone
we know
knows.
Gabe is very online, and there's a lot of people online that are kind of jerks about it.
But it's fun. Actually, maybe I should take that back in a way. We know that you've put in the work, but maybe we don't know, and that's something that us as fans, we're used to dealing with athletes being hurt, right? Hey, he's got a sprained knee. He's going to be out a month. Oh, he tore his ACL. It's an 8-month recovery. Or, oh, he's got Tommy John. We'll see you next year. But do we really know what these guys go through when it comes to dealing with injuries?
No.
What they have to go through physically, what they have to go through emotionally, dealing with all the uncertainty and pain. And, hey, maybe this is a way to let you know, this is what I've gone through, and I want to let you know.
Well, and this one is so unique in the sense, Mike, that like you do an ACL, like you said, okay, 8 months to a year, whatever. Like every fan knows that.
Right.
Name me another example where a guy has been out 3 years. I can't think of one in the history of Denver sports, not off the top of my head at least.
Right.
So I think Gabe is trying to illuminate like all the people out there, it's never going to happen, it's never going to happen. I think he wants to show them, well, guys, this is because remember, he didn't even get the cartilage replacement surgery until he had already missed an entire season.
Right.
So I think it's such a unique thing that Gabe wants the journey to be public. And again, yeah, my gut is this is not Avalanche driven. This is Gabe Landeskog driven on these. I mean, frankly, I've cited 4 examples that have come out in the last 24 to 48 hours.
I do kind of wonder, though, if all of this, it feels like a lot of coping. Like this is how I'm trying to work my way through it. And as far as the docu-series is concerned, I think somebody approached him soon after it became clear the uniqueness of this injury, the uniqueness of this comeback, the fact it was going to be a longer comeback, and somebody very innovative said, this could make a really good story. And I think Gabe thought about it and said, yeah, let's share this story because I expect there to be a happy ending.
Right.
And right now, it doesn't look like there'll be one, or certainly an incomplete one. We're going to get to the end of this 5-part docu-series, and it's going to be sort of a ... to be continued.
Like where are they going to leave it type
right.
deal. Yeah. Man, and when he said mid-September to April, I think the timing of the docu-series.
Right. It's a matter of if, when, not if.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot out there, and I kind of wonder if there's this feeling that, you know, I said a lot of things. I want to follow through on that. And this whole thing, I believe I can do it. Or maybe there's that element of, well, maybe I'm not going to be able to do it, but I just can't give up.
Right.
Because it's not in my nature. And also, there's 4 years at $7 million left hanging out there as well.
There's $28 million still on the line. All right, let's hit on a few other things before we get out of here.
We could talk Gabe all day.
I know,
Jeez.
we could, but there's still games going on. Avs and Penguins on Tuesday. They win 4-1. Certainly not the prettiest game you'll ever see. 2 empty netters inflated that score, and in fact, it was a 1-1 game, super late in it. Avs and Sharks tonight could see Alexander Georgiev, and then Mike, the trade deadline looms as well here. In about 24 hours from when people are watching this. I'll leave it to you, my friend. What do you want to talk about? Penguins, Sharks, trade deadline, any of it?
Trade deadline. I think it really comes down to this. They're going to do something. The question is it a big move? Is it more of a cosmetic move? It really comes down to this because of assets to give up, because of available cap space. I don't think they do anything big unless it focuses on trading Casey Middlestat. If Casey Middlestat is included in a deal, then you have the potential of a big deal. Otherwise, if they don't do that, then I think you're looking at just again more depth pieces. It goes back to what Chris McFarland talked about after the Mikko deal. When you're tight against the cap, you need more flexibility, you need more roster depth. I think you would see a couple of smaller moves designed to do that.
Well, and McFarland's made 6 trades. We'll see if he makes lucky number 7 between now and the deadline. And then tonight in goal, we may get Blackwood versus Georgiev, which if I had told you that 3 months ago, you would have said, yeah, F Sharks,
sure,
Blackwood,
right.
Georgiev. Yeah, I get it. But they're on opposite teams. I got a feeling the Avs are going to try to light the lamp tonight. Might be a little personal.
All right. I assume he's healthy. Does Georgie sign up for that smoke, or does he come down with a, Well,
maybe he's got a little bug in his throat.
Does he have
like
a ballerina flu?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I don't think they like Georgie. I just don't think
think
he ever
so
really
either.
fit
I
in.
agree with you. I don't think they like him.
So I think they're going to try to put a
Does
crooked number.
Does the crowd get a little salty? Do we get a Georgie, a different,
mocking Georgie
chant?
Well, so much to watch, so much to discuss. Mike and I will be back on Tuesday. We'll have more Landeskog updates. The trade deadline will have come and gone, as we'll have played a couple more games. And then buckle up. The postseason is going to be here before you know it. We'll see you next time on Mile High Hockey.